and welcome back to Div 2 Australian Ultimate Championships, coming to you live from beautiful Wollongong. We're very lucky to be here. My name is Max Stenstrom. I'm joined in the booth by Dan Clinton. How are we going?
Good, my friend Maximus.
This is one hell of a matchup we've got in front of us right now. It's Bauhaus Rezzies coming up the road from Melbourne against Inland Gypsies. A bit of a mixture of players from all across regional New South Wales, with a couple of regional Victorian imports as well. So a little bit of a spread, and they'll be coming out on defense to start this game. Bauhaus Rosie with the disc in hand, playing offense against a zone.
Oh, the point.
And that's Matheson with the disc. She's one of their young guns. Expect to see her working a lot downfield as they move it to the far side. Looking to struggle a little bit getting it out of this cup.
We're probably going to see a lot of zone today, I think, Max. Windy conditions, you know, it just makes things hard. You play with an 8th defender in the wind. Oh, Jen Hall.
Fearless, and opens the account, immediately looking long to find Liza Toohill in the end zone. Expect to see a bit more of that from her today.
My word. The throw from Jen Hall. That's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, on the money the whole way through. It's a very nice shot. The wind's coming left to right, and she throws that one downwind and takes the score to 1-0. Opens the account for the Inland Gypsies. Apologies, that was Nicole Hart who brought in that huck. Great effort by her, good run.
We're only as good as our team left, aren't we, Max?
We are indeed. Apologies to Nicole and to Liza's families if they're watching, their friends. We've now got Inland Gypsies gonna pull back down the other way. They've got a pretty small roster, so we see Jen Hore out there again, set to pull, unlike the Bauhaus Rezzies team who have a full complement of players here. Multiple coaches, plenty of subs. We'll see if that's a key difference. Do you think it's likely this early in the tournament, Dan, that legs are going to play a factor?
Well, I think momentum, more than anything, is deciding these games here. I think that, though, your opportunity to win a game quickly is going to be a huge thing moving forward. And if the games do go longer, well, the opportunity to perhaps rest some key players and get wins through, you know, some of the more experienced players on your side.
And these teams aren't short of experience. Inland Gypsies full of players that have played in a lot of different scenarios. It's a lovely block by Brooke. But they're drawing on experience from university. Some of them picked it up while playing in Sydney, as I believe their captain did. But that experience not able to connect there, and it's now a short field opportunity. Bauhaus will look to make certain of it. And a double tip and a catch. Well done. That was well played by Kaina Leong, one of the more experienced players on that Rezzies team. But I believe she must have been out the back. Not able to tow it in.
Okay. In there, Gypsies get another opportunity.
And with the disc in the hands of Jen Hoare, I wouldn't be surprised to see her shoot one early, as she does there. Unfortunately, it falls a little short.
Claire Stewart, 36 years young, running deep on that one, and that wasn't very far away. It was a pretty good cut.
Showing that she is still very capable of downfield in her, I won't say old age, I'll say middle age. And Hoare's flick gets caught in the wind. She shakes her head. She's not happy with how that one came out. It wasn't pretty. Blades out the sideline.
Jen Hoare, Newcastle University alum. She started playing in the Newcastle system many, many years ago. Actually played with my sister for a while on the Sugar Mags before I think she headed out to Dubbo or Orange or somewhere out in the countryside where she's been ever since.
This team has players from all over the place on it. It's pretty cool to see, and I was chatting to them before the game and talking about how they managed to organise trainings, and their response was, oh, the first game of the tournament's a good training. So as they find a connection into the end zone, a nice catch under pressure. The defender was right on her shoulder, but the throw right into the breadbasket of Bridget Caitler, who holds on nicely.
That's a break, Max. Inland Gypsies are up 2-0 now.
They've come out of the gates very strong. Despite having a loss this morning, they went down in a pretty emphatic fashion against Heads of State, going down 15-5. So I know they were pretty keen to show that that wasn't indicative of how they're going to be playing for the whole tournament. They were maybe a bit slow to start this morning. As I said, you know, that was their training session, the first game of the tournament. So now they've taken off some of the rust.
Could be a sign of things to come. They'll get stronger as the tournament goes on.
That's right. It's all uphill from a 15-5 loss in the first game. And they're doing well here, coming out 2-0.
Downhill, rather. Would it be downhill or would it be uphill?
I guess their performances are improving, so they're going up. But maybe it's easier because they're going downhill.
Yeah, you've confused me.
Confuse myself sometimes. Now, Rezzies, Bauhaus, they've been caught a bit maybe napping to start this match. Do you think it's a focus thing or is it a conditions thing? The breeze isn't too bad as it comes left to right on your screens.
I honestly think it is a roster size thing. It's hard to get everyone ready to play at the same time because everyone's different. You know, everyone focuses at different rates. Everyone, you know, warms up at different speeds. You know, some people are ready to go straight away, whereas some people will take, you know, half an hour to really hit that top level that they're capable of. And it's just a coaching challenge, really. And it's something I personally enjoyed. Was trying to figure out, hey, how can we perform with a large roster straight out of the gate? So it'll be interesting, but I dare say as the game continues, Bauhaus are going to find themselves getting stronger as their individual focus levels and their overall preparedness increases.
We saw there maybe an example of that focus not being quite there as one just went straight through the hands. And Gypsies are ruthless in punishing the Bauhaus Rezzies there. You give them the disc in the hands of Jen Hoare, and
it's a sign of intent. The diminutive Hoare she's just raining death onto the end zone. Another long throw resulting in a great grab, and that's 3-0.
Rezzies looking pretty good, to be honest, swinging and dumping well, moving the disc sideways, not making a whole lot of ground against the Gypsies zone. But eventually, the simple mistake happens, the simple drop through the hands, and Gypsies get another one cheap. Credit to them for being ruthless with the disc, but so far I don't feel like they're earning their blocks or earning the turnovers. Bauhaus is really just giving it to them.
It does seem like they're not quite switched on. Bauhaus, they seem to be a little bit laggy. They're not quite here. They're not quite present at the moment. And it's a bit of an issue. I might even, something that could be an option, call a timeout and do some sprints in the end zone. Or do, you know, a quick 100 throws or 50 throws, you know, or just get the players moving a little bit more. Rather than just stick with something that clearly isn't working, try and mix things up.
They definitely need to do something because they're down 3-0 in just a matter of moments, and they haven't really shown any kind of threat going the other way. They definitely need to find another level, switch on a little more.
Well, at the moment, the Bauhaus Rezzies offense is DOA.
What is DOA?
Dead on arrival.
Well, it definitely, I'm not even sure if it's arrived this game. It's still on its way as they have another turn against this Inland Gypsy zone. And there's another turn from probably a questionable decision. The Rezzies' head's just not in the right spot early in this match.
Jen Hoare has got it. Nice throw to an under.
And that one through the hands of Yan Bao. Unfortunately, it was a good throw on her chest, had two hands on it. And Bauhaus looked to move it quickly before the zone can really lock down. A nice one-handed grab there to keep the possession alive from Leong. But this tempo drops. Struggling to get a reset.
I just get the feeling that the Bauhaus offense is just kind of lost. They really don't have a clear idea or concept of what they want to be doing here.
They definitely need a bit more of a clear plan. And against a zone like this, I'd like to see them with a little bit quicker movement, trying to keep the tempo high, not letting that cup set. The zone is at its weakest when they're running sideways, when they're moving. You can wear those legs out as they go over the top, and they will open their account. That's a nice backhand for the Rezzies. Chalk one up on the board. It's 3-1 as Rezzies get a downwind hold.
That's good. That's what they needed. They couldn't go down 4-0 in this game. It just can't happen. If you have a hope of winning and being competitive in the match, you can't be down 4-0 and expect to be there at the end. It doesn't work like that. See Bao walking up to play defense there.
So if you're the Rezzies now, you're down a couple and you've just managed to get your first one. What's your thought process? What's your plan from here? Trying to go back upwind and reclaw back that deficit that you've dug yourself.
Well, it comes back to your best defense. I think single coverage across the field. Send your best defender at Jen Hoare. Try and prevent her from getting the frisbee, and go from there. Try and win this with your legs. You would argue that Bauhaus, with the deeper roster and younger average age, the advantage is going to be there for them athletically. And if they can force Inland Gypsies into this game where they've got to run and they've got to work and they've got to run some more, I think that that's where Bauhaus are going to want to play this game.
As they send up the big pull, and it lands just near the brick mark. And they've clearly been listening to you, Dan. They come down in single coverage. We'll see how Inland Gypsies respond as they bring it to the near sideline.
There seems to be a large amount of confusion as to who's marking what.
They seem to have found their assigned targets now as Matheson comes through an attempted run through, and that one through the hands. Lovely pressure.
Matheson is a fingernail away from getting a lovely IRD. Just needed to commit that little bit more and that would have been hers.
Matheson, one of the young guns on this team. She's been selected to play for Australia later this year in the juniors team. So definitely a one to watch for the future. Bright future ahead of her. And they're now 6 meters out. Just working it up that open side. Gypsies not really putting any pressure on those throws. Bit of confusion on their end as well as to what was happening defensively. There was players open all over the place.
And that's what I was saying. Getting that that game where it's all about run and effort. The deeper roster is going to play a part, and that makes it 2 for Bauhaus Rezzies, and that looked a hell of a lot better.
They were just able to march that disc straight up the field. Open throw, open throw, open throw, open side, open side, open side. The Inland Gypsies not really getting any traction on their defense, and we've now got a timeout call in response. And as they head for a break, we'll head for a break too. Welcome back to Division 2 Australian Ultimate Championships. We're early in the first half of this match in the women's division between Inland Gypsies and Bauhaus Rezzies. The Gypsies jumped out of the gates very strong, going out 3-0, and Bauhaus has responded. We thought they looked pretty flat here in the booth, but coach said something that worked, lit a fire underneath them, and they've started running, taking advantage of that big roster that we were talking about earlier that they have.
Yeah, they got the memo that they had a game, so they showed up. It's 10 minutes late. That's fine. They're in this game.
They're a little late to class, but they're making up for lost time. And the Gypsies will have to see if they can punch back. You know, they threw the first punch. Bauhaus responded with a couple.
I could easily see this turning into a very, very strong game of runs. Jen Hoare is going to unleash it.
No surprises there. She immediately shoots long, and she did have a receiver going deep. Young Bronte Clifford, only 16 years old, but she was giving up a good 6 to 8 inches on both of the defenders in the area, and not able to come down with that one. And that Leong not able to hold on to that one as they shoot long immediately again. Gypsy's game plan seems to be catch disc, throw it at the end zone. Rosie's, on the other hand, working the open side under space, kind of that 8 to 10 meter pass, looking to work with their legs. As Jen Hoare picks it up, finds a mark. Another good hold by Caitla. They're about 8 meters out, and that one, a wayward pass, well regathered. They're in the center of the field now. That's where they want to be, even if that probably wasn't how they wanted to get there.
Jen Hoare needs to get this disc here. She needs to get the reset and drive the offense.
Credit to their defender. She's put under a lot of pressure and not able to get open. And in the end, it forces a desperation pass to not a whole lot. And the Rezzies say we can play the deep game too, as they reach long, but slightly too far for Nicole Hart. And the Gypsies get another shot. Hoare isolated in the lane, working hard, not able to get open. And it seems like the Gypsies, when they're not able to get the disc into the hands of Hoare, either her not throwing it or her not receiving it, things just look a little dicey.
As I was saying, I feel like this game could be just a game of runs where we see one team just continually punch in score after score. It was Inland Gypsies with 3 off the bat. Bauhaus Rezzies have had 2. You could see either team running to an 8-4 halftime. I just don't know which team it's going to be. At this stage of the game, it's just so even.
Both have shown moments of brilliance and moments of
not so brilliant.
Not so brilliant indeed. That's a nice ball. Goes crossfield. Come near side and through the hands of Mornament. And the Rezzies bring it back into play.
That's Ashley Mornament with an I, spelled with an I at the end. Interesting spelling.
It is. So this point continues to stretch. I've lost count of the turnovers. We're surely at half a dozen. We've got a lovely run through D. But I think these long points will begin to favour the larger roster of Rezzies if they can continue to work them hard. Julia Kinnearaman there with a lovely run through block. Reads it like a book, cuts it out.
Sporting the pigtails is Kaniraman. Might be bringing pigtails back in ultimate. And that's 3-all.
Speaking of bringing it back, Rezzies level the scores at 3 apiece. Gypsies came out of the gate strong and the Rezzies have responded. I wouldn't say it's champagne ultimate, but it's gritty, hard running, hard fought ultimate, that's for sure. Both teams working hard, as we saw Kierman get a great run through D. And a couple of good defensive efforts from the other side as well. Every single point you see Rezzies out there, the full squad on the field, half of them on the line, half of them kneeling, but all fully engaged. And that's what they need to be if they want to keep this momentum with them, continue this run. They're 3 points into it, but I wouldn't be surprised to see another couple. As you said, Dan, you can imagine this game going to 8-4 at half, and you can imagine it going both ways, 8-4 at half. Either team could be the one that lays a quick 4 or 5 out there. Question is, which team will that be? And only time will tell.
Yeah, I think I can hear the cliche police coming to arrest you, Maxie.
Guilty as charged.
We need to see what adjustments Inland Gypsies make now. They've given up 3 points in a row. They need to make a change. They can't keep sticking with this, because otherwise they are going to be down 8-4 at half. It's going to go out.
That may be a brick, or Hoare may elect to take it from the sideline. We'll wait and see. It went out about halfway. And she'll choose the sideline option, preferring the slightly shorter field. Maybe she feels that it puts her within striking range of the end zone. Instead goes underneath to Kayla. Down the line, but a good defensive effort. Plenty of pressure coming from Miller. And it will be brought back into play by Petzold, a German import in this team. She's in Australia doing a university exchange down in Melbourne, and she was snaffled up by the Bauhaus team when they heard about her being in town and said, hey, do you want to come play with us? I know you're not here long, but we could do with your skills. Her length and her throwing ability will be very valuable for this team as Hoare reaches long, but reaches too far. Out the back. One too many wheat bix this morning, I think. The wind has died down. This morning we were dealing with 30, 40 knot winds that were making the games pretty severely wind affected. And that one through the hands of the Gypsies. Petzold on the near sideline does well to get it off. So often we see players and teams get caught on the sideline in a tricky position. Matheson does well. As they move it up the far sideline now, keeping that tempo high. The big backhand back across the field. In. And then she's on the other end to catch the goal. She's all over the field for them at the moment.
That's 4 in a row there, Max. That is bad news, Bears. I think that it's time for Inland Gypsies to call a timeout. Slow the game down, change something, make an adjustment, try and shift it, because at the moment, the Bauhaus Rezzies, it's just all falling their way. We see a great grab into that beautiful throw. The attempted karate chop D does not come off, and Petzold gets herself a very nice score.
What kind of adjustment do you think needs to be made? We've seen a little bit of zone and a little bit of single coverage.
There needs to be a clearer offensive idea, some sort of structure, either, you know, primary wing, primary deep, isolation, pull reception, some sort of concept where we're like, right, this is what we're going to do when we have the frisbee. Okay, we're going to try and work a power position to Jen Hoare off a pull reception so that she can hug it. We're going to isolate Jen Hoare in the lane, try and get her the frisbee so she can hug it. Some sort of idea where they can all get on the same page, because at the moment it's just a bit messy. You're not sure really what they want to do.
Well, I tell you what they do want to do, or what Jen Hoare wants to do, and that's huck it long. But it doesn't work out there. I do think you're right, though. There's a lack of clarity, a lack of intent with the Inland Gypsies when they've got the disc. They're looking to play a bit of huck and zone now as they set up their 3-person cup.
Why not at this stage? It is an adjustment after all. They've been in single coverage most of the time.
We'll see whether this can slow down the Bauhaus offense, which has been so focused on hitting open side unders. Maybe this is a good adjustment. It's forcing Bauhaus to go sideways a fair bit, and they're rewarded. Make them throw enough passes, and eventually the mistake will come.
And that's one unique thing about the women's game, is that you do get opportunities. Doesn't matter at the level, you will have an opportunity. You know, there are going to be turns. You know, your defense will get the job done at times. And it's just a question of, can you punch it in once you've got it?
And the answer is, for this point at least, yes. As they find Hoare in the front corner of the end zone. She does a good job beating a player, a little squirrely cut, taking advantage of her agility. Gets around in front. Nice pass in the end. And Inland Gypsies steady the ship. Conceding 4 in a row, never a good feeling, but they've righted themselves, refocused, and scored the goal. I like the defensive adjustment, as you mentioned, to the zone. We'll see if they continue with that and continue to find success, where the Bauhaus Rezzies can adapt.
It's very clear that Jen Hoare is a very, very important part of this Inland Gypsies team. She's going to be the difference maker, I think. And it's going to be on the Gypsies coaching staff whether or not they can create the circumstance and the opportunities for Jen to make the plays. Because we mentioned the lack of clarity, the kind of the lack of a determined idea. They need to change that. If they can get Jen Hoare in space with a clear idea, I think that's going to lead to a great deal of success for the Gypsy side.
And likewise on the other end of the field, whether the Bauhaus Rezzies can reliably figure out a way to shut her down. I mean, it's a bit similar to the previous game on this stream where we saw Tom Boyle from Ballarat just totally dominate with the disc in his hands.
Until the last point.
Until the last point, that's right. And the opposition really struggling to find an effective way to slow him down, to deny him the frisbee. So if Bauhaus Rezzies can do that with Jen Hoare, if they can deny her getting the disc, then I think that will be a crucial step in finding the win that they need here. They now have the disc on the far sideline. Yambao, hand block, well done. Using the length advantage, Yambao giving up a good foot to her mark. And that proved decisive. Leong does well, heads up play, but potentially a knee to the head on the way through. Shakes it off like the warrior that she is and brings the disc.
This ain't soccer. She just gets up and goes. Never mind the concussion.
This is the big leagues here at the Division II National Championships. A knock to the head isn't going to stop Leong. Not when her team needs her. She may be the oldest player on this team, but she's probably also the toughest. Immediately shooting deep in true Inland Gypsy style.
Birchall taking the reins from Jen Hoare, who's having a bit of a break on the sideline.
Petzold underneath it. She's got Matheson streaking deep. Doesn't want it. Prefers to play safe and swing. Giving time for the Gypsies cup to reset. And they'll go sideways again. Willing to be very patient, but struggling to generate much threatening downfield. Petzold again reliably being the one to generate the meters. She's been very important for them so far.
And that's Baccarat Cox there. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see much of Baccarat Cox at regional. She copped a pretty heavy head knock first game, day one, and that kind of ended her tournament then and there. Liking what I'm seeing out of the diminutive handler. She's a presence on the field and she's getting the job done.
Yeah, it's good to see that she's back and it wasn't anything too serious, and clearly a valuable part of the Bauhaus handler core doing great jobs. They go over the top. That's an inventive throw, I'll give it that, the high arcing backhand. But it comes off, and they retain possession. They're about 5 meters out, but they have been for the last half dozen throws or so. I mean, credit to where credit's due. The handler's doing a good job of recycling and maintaining possession, but really struggling to generate downfield options. Another opportunity for the legs of this younger Rezzies squad to really wear out the Inland Gypsies. Gypsies also a little shorter on legs and training time in the lead up to this tournament. As they eventually find Matheson, the holes open up. If you go sideways enough, the holes will eventually appear. And they hit Matheson in space, in stride. That's 5-4.
You see the head knock.
Oh, it is. It's a knee to the side of the head.
Knee to the temple, no worries. That was the grab by Petzold.
Yeah, what a revelation she is. Petzold, such an important pickup for this team. Not sure exactly her playing history in Germany, but clearly no stranger to the ultimate field. Very capable with the disc in hand and downfield. She's served in both roles so far already for this Bauhaus team.
I think for the Inland Gypsies, what we saw just then, the lack of a incisive zone offense from Bauhaus is a good sign for them. I think that sticking with the zone is a good idea. They don't have the depth or the athleticism to run with this Bauhaus Rezzies team in terms of single coverage, and they're going to have to stick with the zone, I think. Throw some wrinkles, make the Bauhaus use a lot of different players and throw a lot of passes.
It definitely asks questions of the Bauhaus Rezzies team. They've asked the single coverage question and they got a pretty clear answer. And now they're asking the zone one. And so far, it's been relatively effective. It did get them one turn last point and then forced them to throw a whole lot of passes, which is definitely what they want. Bauhaus playing single coverage now with the shot deep from the Gypsies, cleaned up nicely by the help defense from the Rezzies.
Polmere there, playing that deep roll, just kind of poaching off the back of the stack, expecting the throw from Hall.
And they make quick work of that one, coming down the near sideline, bang, 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 and eventually that throw over the top into space gets them the goal. And maybe that's an issue here for the Gypsies as well. Their offense feels a little bit one-dimensional. We know they're going to shoot deep, and it allows players like Polmere, who have plenty of height, to hang off the back and get involved. And it's going to be a struggle for the Inland Gypsies. They don't have a whole lot of height that can match the taller women on this Bauhaus team. And we've had a timeout call.
Yeah, by the Inland Gypsies. I think that's a good call.
And with that, we'll take a break and play a couple ads. And welcome back. The story of the game so far is the Inland Gypsies came out of the gates very strong, jumping out to a 3-0 lead. Bauhaus Rezzies were late to arrive mentally, did not show up until the 4th or 5th point of this match, but they have showed up in force now, and they have pulled it back and jumped out to 6-4. The question is, do the Gypsies have something that they can respond with? Another tool in the kit, another trick in the bag. As Jen Hoare pilots this Inland Gypsies offense. Bauhaus opting for the zone here, looking to contain some of Hoare's big throws. And Petzold gets the run through, sticks out the big left hand and says, none of that here, thank you very much. But can't connect with the centering pass. And Hoare runs to the disc, looking to get it moving quickly. I think it's a good option when there's a cup forming around you. Through the center, that's a nice throw. And that was an ambitious shot from Clifford.
But better, much better from Inland Gypsies. Much more positive, much better idea as well of how they're wanting to run that offense. A little bit more width, a little bit more depth as well. Instead of it only being a one-dimensional deep shot kind of thing, they're looking sideways, they're looking under, they're trying to create some angles.
And that was a cheap turnover, about 10 meters out. Hoare picks it up.
God, dear.
And a lovely D. Will give the Rezzies another chance.
Just didn't see her, I don't think. Yeah, didn't see her at all. The poach off the front of the stack. Hoare does not read it, and it results in a turn.
The Gypsies have struggled to convert the turns. They've got plenty of them, but sticking them back in the end zone has been the challenge. As the tempo slows. Oh, and that one just straight through the hands of Ong. Absolutely no pressure, simple brain fart, as some say. Lovely around throw from Hoare. That's beautiful. Finds Clifford. Yeah. Showing that she's got power and she's got finesse.
Yeah.
Lovely outside in backhand. Sits up nicely for her young teammate to run onto.
Yeah, that's just, yep. Oh, that's just, yep.
That is,
yep.
That is yummy. That is yummy.
Yep.
And Clifford eats it up.
Yep. They say yep.
She eats what Hoare was offering, serving up for her.
Yep.
And we're now at 6-5. Back within one. It's game on. I mean, the Gypsies aren't ready to roll over yet. It wouldn't have been surprised for them to get their heads down. It would have been an easy thing to do and understandable, but they're showing some, some mental toughness, some grit. They're not giving up yet.
And the effect of the timeout was very, very pronounced. Bauhaus really hasn't turned over kind of 2 or 3 possessions recently, but they turned it over repeatedly in that point, giving the Gypsies repeated looks at their end zone.
And when you give them that many chances, they're going to get one of them. So maybe what we're seeing here is a bit of a pattern from the Rezzies. They were slow to start at the start of the game. It took them 2 or 3 points to get going. They've come out slow after that timeout. Maybe they just don't like long periods off the field. Their way of getting into a game is to play lots, to run hard. As young athletes, that's maybe where they find their groove in hard running and getting up a bit of a sweat. Inland Gypsies, on the other hand, relying on some older, more experienced heads. The veterans on the team not phased by a couple of minutes off and probably thankful for the extra rest that it gives them. As Polmere with the disc shoots with the big forehand, but it blades over. Can't find her intended target. But Polmere immediately steps back and hangs off the back of the stack, playing some help defense. And then the rest of the Bauhaus team looking to play tight single coverage.
The Gypsies need to realize this, and they need to adjust. They need to know that there's going to be someone free, and they just need to find that player.
Well, they find her there with Clifford over the top, and Hoare right on the doorstep now. Disc in her hands is where they want it in a situation like this. And the wide open player on the open side. She has to work for it. But Alexandra Brooke pulls that one down. Bit of a miss throw from Hoare. Had acres of space, could have just thrown it to her chest under absolutely no kind of pressure. Instead, makes her look good. And look good she does with a lovely layout. Impressive play. Not quite sure what happened with the defense, leaving someone quite so open.
That's the ninja receiver out there. She's wearing green. Oh, what a grab.
Great grab.
Jen Hoare, I think, putting forward a bit of a case for MVP of the tournament. She is showing up big time in this game. Crucial grab there, leading into an assist.
She's been doing a whole lot of work for this team. Defensively, she's been their main puller. Offensively, absolutely quarterbacked their offense. Been part of everything. You almost feel like if she isn't throwing or catching every single pass, things feel a little dicey. She's just so important for them. Putting forward a very strong case. Wouldn't be surprised to see her name being called out at the end of this tournament on Sunday afternoon. And she's calling the line now. Not only leading through her actions, also leading through her words. Calling out the defense. I'd imagine another zone look. It's how they've been finding success lately.
It's been their best option. Their single coverage it's just not strong enough. With the likes of, Patesolt out there, that it's just so long, rangy and fast, you're going to be hard-pressed to find a good matchup for that anywhere. Let alone on a short team made up of, people from all throughout country New South Wales and also Victoria.
So credit to the Gypsies coaching staff, really, for recognising that, being smart about how they play, knowing that, maybe they don't have the athletes to compete with the likes of Patesolt, but that a zone will deliver them the disc, which is just what they want. And they shoot deep again, it doesn't connect, but will make Bauhaus work the full length of the field.
Patesolt is in close.
And straight through the hands. Very cheaply given up. Right on the end zone line. And Hoare walks up to it. Cool as can be.
Oh,
and
no.
in the end, hand blocked by Leong.
That was not the option. That was not the throw. I think I'll need to go have a word with young Jen.
We'll have to see that one again later at the end of this point.
Oh wow.
Bauhaus just struggling to hold on to two-handed catches at the moment.
That's pretty good concentration there. Bounces it off the right hand to catch it with both. That's impressive.
Oh, and that's a lovely hold. The throw falling short, but it's well done by Miller. And now looking long for Patesolt. She's a couple of meters out. She's got Leong, fakes it, throws it, out in front. That's end-to-end stuff from Bauhaus. Once they got moving, they didn't slow down. They take it to 7-6. Both teams trading blows now.
My word.
So we see again the assist from Patesolt.
And Birchall was keen to call that disc down. It was Jen Hoare that overruled her and said it was up. And then Birchall had to haul booty to try and get back on defense.
It's great spirit by Hoare, recognising that no matter how close the game is, it was 6-all when that happened. She thought it was up, recognised a good player when she saw one and said, no, keep going. Well done, Bauhaus. So now Bauhaus have an opportunity to break into half. I know some people consider it a very important momentum shift to take that half. Do you think that's something that's playing into their thoughts right now?
I don't think it's in their thoughts, but I think that if you're part of the coaching staff for Bauhaus Rezzies and you've been paying attention this game, you need that buffer because your team really hasn't performed out of the stoppages. You need a bit of a buffer so that you can, come out of halftime, get back on the field, warm up again, switch on and check in mentally, and then get back about your business. You know, without actually going down and then having to fight up into the game through multiple breaks.
I think you called it early on, Dan, when you said this is going to be a game of runs. It's being big swings of momentum both ways. It doesn't feel like either team's been able to consistently string together points. They've come in bursts, floods and droughts, as the Rezzies pull out a slightly different zone look perhaps to earlier. And the Gypsies reacting, Horde having to make a nice sliding grab. It gets up a little ginger.
She was laughing as she caught that disc. She was amused by the throw selection.
Can't blame her. It was an interesting option, but they have faith in their captain, and she delivers. As Birchall plays catch and throw with Hoare. Not a whole lot happening downfield. And now the stall count rising. Goes across field to the near side. Stewart, the veteran of the team mum, as I heard her called earlier, goes back to Hoare.
I love that movement through the middle by Hoare. Aggressive zone offense. Getting upfield in front of the disc as a handler. Strong spot to be because it just creates so many angles for you.
And it's working for her, showing her throwing chops. Not that we need any more evidence of that, but throws a lovely scuba. Oh, and that was a good-looking pass as well to Bridget Caitler, but she can't hold on. And it was a good adjustment from her, as you say, Dan. Recognised that if she needed, or the team needed, a little bit more dynamic movement to get that disc forwards, and she delivers. But Rezzies now with the disc. Swing it to the far side. They're clearly very well drilled in their dump and swing. They've been showing it all game long. For the ultimate Frisbee purists out there, they watch that kind of thing and they love it. And Inland Gypsies will love that one. It's another turn, another opportunity. We said earlier, you cannot give the Gypsies this many opportunities with the disc and not expect them to score. We'll see whether they can do it here. Birchall with the disc.
Again, Hall working in that kind of intermediate space immediately in front of the disc, trying to create some angles.
And I think they might have opted for an assassination look here, playing a bit of a zone and then a one-on-one on Hall. Bauhaus digging deep into the defensive playbook. And it's working for them. Both teams generating plenty of turns. And both teams struggling to move the disc forwards. Comes to the sideline in the hands of Luo.
It's such a grind at the moment.
Back to Tan, back to Polmir. Working. She points at the end zone. She wants that outlet, that deep look. Because she knows if you keep going sideways, the mistakes will come. And you give the Gypsies a short field.
Polmir knew exactly what was coming if it was just dump and swing repeatedly. She wanted that outlet for the potential deep throw. It didn't come quickly enough. And now Inland Gypsies deep in the red zone.
On the doorstep, meters away, back to Hoare. There's not a lot happening downfield. Very stagnant, reaches across here with the backhand. That's a lovely throw, a visionary option. Plenty of traffic out there, pretty stagnant, not a whole lot going on. And she just throws her player open. No movement whatsoever from the cutters. And Hoare says, all right, I'll do it myself. I'll throw the perfect throw to the perfect spot on the field where the defenders just have absolutely no opportunity. And that takes it to 7 apiece.
Galaxy point, Max.
Galaxy point!
I can't believe it. I've been waiting all tournament for it.
May not be official Wolf to Flingo, but it definitely should be. If you're listening in, Ruben Berg.
It's going viral.
Add it into the rules, mate.
Galaxy point.
7 apiece. Next point takes half. We've said this game is one of swings of momentum. We feel taking the half will be another shift in that momentum, and who knows, may well be the decisive one.
I think at halftime I'm going to make a quick run down to the local return services league, pick up an air raid siren, because Jen Hoare has just been dropping bombs on the end zone.
And interestingly
every
enough,
single time she has the disc, I feel like we just need that wailing sound because it's going to come. That disc, it's going to get launched and end up in the end zone somehow.
Oh, she's got an absolute missile launcher of a backhand, that's for sure. And interestingly, she's opting not to play this crucial Galaxy point. She's off. In fact, she's got her socks and cleats off as well. Maybe she's got something in her shoes, we're not sure. But
sock change.
She's got trust in her teammates to get the job done. I'm sure they'll still be looking to reach long, even without her on the field. It's Rezzies. Take the brick against the zone and find Petzold underneath. Petzold, really the workhorse of this offense, just driving so much of the movement in downfield, in the downfield space. Let's go backwards and sideways. Matheson with a lovely little hold, an aggressive shot, and almost a clean up of the trash behind. And Birchall unleashes one, the big arcing backhand underneath it, and just read better.
At the end of the day, that's what's going to make the difference a lot of the time. Read it, get front position, make the play.
Front position, we've talked about it a lot, and there's a reason we have. It's just so important. But Birchall again now with another opportunity, this time from about 12 out. She'll fake the flick, she'll go the backhand, and again cut out by the same defender. And Rezzies will waste no time in moving downfield as Leong finds a shot through the center, moves it to the near side, but can't hold on. Waters.
That forehand had some stank on it. That was moving.
Zipped it in.
Always hard to complete that short range forehand.
Yeah.
It's just, it comes out with so much velocity.
Petzold now playing D on Birchall. That's a great matchup. And the Gypsies come this side of the field. A lovely break shot to open that one up. And Gypsies will take half as they find Ashley Monument in the end zone. That's 8-7 to the Inland Gypsies. Bauhaus Rezzies, work to do. So we see that inside backhand again. That's lovely. Opens up heaps of space for Monument to get open on the break side of the field. And as the players take their halftime break, we will too. Stick around for the second half. Coming to you from Division 2 Australian Ultimate Championships. Welcome back to the second half of Inland Gypsies and Bauhaus Rezzies here at lovely Wollongong. We are at the Division 2 Australian Ultimate Championships, the largest tournament ever played in Australia that wasn't an international tournament, so the largest domestic tournament. We've got 40 teams from all across the country. We've got 740 plus players. We've just got an absolute festival of Frisbee this weekend down in Wollongong. And we're very lucky to be here. So thank you to Destination Wollongong for having us, letting us use your pristine fields. There's not many places we could hold a tournament this big and be so close to the ocean. We're literally within a stone's throw distance, or I should say a Frisbee throw's distance. I can smell the waves. But before...
You can smell it, can you?
I can. But before I get to go for a swim, we've got a game before us to watch.
Festival of Frisbee. I like that one.
It is a festival.
Can I borrow that?
All yours. Just give me a shout out when you use it.
Gotcha.
So far this game, massive swings of momentum. Credit to you, Dan Clanton. You called it early on. It was going to be swings of momentum. And
I'm a little bit disappointed I didn't actually call the score right. It kind of went sideways there for a little bit as the trading just got out of hand and both teams getting opportunities on offense, turns on defenses. Both defenses started to really turn up the pressure and make both offenses have to work very, very hard for their points and their conversions.
They're putting a lot of pressure on, that's for sure. Gypsies trying a few different Ds before they settle on this zone, and you can see it's working right there. And no surprises, Hoare runs to the disc, picks it up, and packages it and FedExes it to the end zone. But Baccarat Cox, on the back of getting 2 or 3 great Ds in the last point of the last half, gets in the way of this one as well. And the Rezzies get the disc back, but again, struggle to move downfield. This Gypsies zone stifling the options for the Rezzies. They finally find something forward. Oh, that's a well done to keep that one in as they move it back to the center, into the hands of Leong, the captain on this team, providing the continuation when they need it, and they'll work it back towards the far sideline. And over the top, but not able to connect with her intended receiver.
This is what we're talking about, is at some point it just seems like the defense makes the offense throw one too many passes. And it's not necessarily a big defensive play that's getting the block, it's just the offense running down and running out of steam, you know, kind of not having the withdrawal to power through and get that final pass.
In a lot of ways, it's making them roll the dice over and over and over again. And eventually, the dice lands and the turn comes. You get snake eyes and it's a turn, that's right. Baccarat Cox will pick this one up. Surveys her options. Comes near side. Leong, 2 meters out, puts it out in front. Does a nice job sneaking it past her defender down a narrow lane and hits Caroline Go in stride. It's a nice throw, despite plenty of defensive pressure.
The story of this game is changing. It's changing by the moment. Bauhaus has been, you know, slow out of stoppages in the first half. Second half, D-break.
Immediately.
No worries.
And as we speak, the wind's starting to pick up. That could prove to play a factor. It's blowing towards the camera, so we've got a bit of a cross breeze. See which team's able to adapt to the more thrower unfriendly conditions, perhaps conditions that don't favour the Gypsies' preferred Huck and D style. We'll see whether they can adapt and whether Bauhaus's athleticism and willingness to grind long, gritty points will be a decisive factor in this one. So we're at 8 apiece. It's neck and neck and all to play for. Both of these teams yet to get a win on the board, so getting one will be very important in looking to keep their tournament hopes alive. As Petzold Lines up for a pull. Jen Hall delivering the instructions for her offensive line. I imagine the instructions go something along the lines of, you run to the end zone, I'll send it there. As it lands and she walks to pick it up.
I like how the mark got down very fast then though.
They're forcing away from this near sideline, it appears. Back into the teeth of the breeze. Hoping for things to pop up and give them plenty of opportunities if they do try and swing it back into the wind. And they're rewarded. Picked up by Heppel. She centers. And then that one, a pack grab straight on top of the stack. Immediately streaking deep, and Hall will unleash. She's got her player heading deep. But
oh, wow.
Hart does a sliding attempt on her knees.
That had gotta hurt.
Shakes it off immediately. Back up on the mark.
This is not soccer.
This is not soccer. Soccer player would have been down rolling around, hoping for the foul call on that one. And Hall picks it up, sends it to the end zone again. If at first you don't succeed, try and try and try again if you're Jen Hall.
Well, that's twice. It's nearly resulted in a goal.
She's got one gear, and it's Huck. As Bauhaus have an opportunity against some single coverage here. See whether their superior work rate will find them success. And it appears good so far. Never really looking like they're slowing down as they reach for Petzold. She's got plenty of space. Attempts the fat side forehand back into the lane, but it turns over. Didn't come out of the hand well. Didn't have a good grip on that one, and it flutters to the turf.
Lack of grip strength there. It's where that flutter comes from. It's just not strong enough out of the hand to generate those revs to stabilize the disc in flight.
Petzold hanging off the back of the stack, but she isn't needed as Tan cuts that pass out nicely, pushing it out the far sideline. And Petzold will go pick it up. She's got Heppel in the center and a number of cutters cutting at once. They'll want to clean that up. Don't want to clog that lane too much.
What are you talking about, Max? Cram it, cram off.
Well, I think they preferred your option, and it didn't work out that time. They had about 2 or 3 players within about a meter of each other, and none of them could hold on to that frisbee. As Hoare, nice backhand. Oh, and another turnover, a wayward pass that one. And Petzold won't waste any time bringing it back in. Attempting a difficult shot into a rapidly closing lane. Doesn't complete, not able to thread the needle. And she'll hustle deep, and Petzold will intelligently hang off the back of the stack. And no surprises, the huck does come.
Oh, all right.
And it's a goal.
Okay.
I think Petzold got fingertips on that as well. She shouldn't have cut her nails before the game.
Yeah, okay.
That'll take it to 9-8.
I've got something for that. It's coming. It's coming.
Sound the alarm.
Sound the alarm.
Hoare is dropping some bombs. Just raining them down.
North Korea isn't the only country that Donald Trump needs to worry about. Apparently, Jen Hoare has ICBMs as well.
Yeah, her backhand and an intercontinental ballistic missile have a lot in common. May not always hit their target, but gosh, they're scary. And Bauhaus.
And they're white.
Bauhaus doesn't have a reliable response. This is the problem. They don't have a way to stop it. Also like a ballistic missile, they don't have a reliable way to stop it. They've had Petzold hang off the back. the tallest player on the team, sitting 3 or 4 or 5 meters off the back of the stack. And Hoare, absolutely fearless, throws it anyway, and they complete and they score. Takes it to 9-8. The points are really starting to drag out as well as we rapidly close in on time cap. We're about 6.5 minutes away. Almost certainly won't be hitting points cap at 15. And Hoare pulls it. I'd be surprised if she took another sub this game if it remains close. As Palmer picks up, looks to get it moving. And the Gypsies settle into their zone again. That's a nice forehand over the top. And move it to this near side. Moving it well now. Go with the disc. Goes sideways again to Ooh. Getting a little trapped. Struggling. Goes the high release back into Palmer. Palmer, crossfield. Big backhand. Plenty of time underneath. It might be too deep. And it is. A little bit too much juice. A little bit too spicy, that one. No shortage of power. It's a nice looking throw if the field was about 15 meters longer.
Yeah, I think the wind may be just pushing that one a little bit too far.
And now walk it up slowly. Vertical stack. You can see Palmer hanging well off the back. They know what Hoare wants, and it's well cut out by Ooh.
Well read, just straight under the receiver.
Just jumps into the open side lane and then attempts the high release backhand.
It gets hand blocked.
By Hart. She does well.
It's not one thing, it's another, isn't it?
As Hoare goes again, she finds Hart. Palmer was there. This is what I mean. They're not surprising the Rezzies with this tactic. The Rezzies just don't have a response that is able to stop it. Hoare's connection's going deep, and every 50-50 jump ball seems to be going the way of the Gypsies right now.
Sometimes you need a little bit of luck.
As the Rezzies coach, I'd be pulling my hair out. They're doing everything right. They've got players underneath it, and they're just not able to come up with a disc. They do eventually get the lifeline. So the wayward pass goes out the side, and Palmer brings it back, and Palmer launches one deep. Looks like Palmer and Hoare are playing catch right now, playing a bit of tennis. And Hart holds on to the bobbled disc.
I think Nicole Hart has a bit of pine tar in her bag.
Sticky hands.
Oh, and Ooh again, just reading the play so well.
Oh, sized up the deep option, but puts it in the holster. I'm disappointed, I'll be honest. It looked good. Choosing to play possession ultimate. Contrast in styles between these two teams. I know Hoare would have thrown that without a second thought as they center it now. Rezzies very comfortable working through a lot of different players. It's commendable. And Palmer, a lovely inside backhand. High release, finds her player. That's a lovely shot. And that takes it to 9s. We've got a close one, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Don't go anywhere. This one's going to go down to the line as Palmer opens up that side of the field with a high release inside backhand. And you can see a few players immediately hands on knees, gasping for breath. It's a long one. There's plenty of hard running out there. All right, we're at 9s. We've got 3 minutes to play. Dan, what are they going to bring out? What do they do now? Rezzies are on defense, so they need a stop right now. How do they get it?
You got to go single coverage. Single coverage straight up. It's what wins you championships. It's not going to be zone on day 3 that wins you the goal. It's going to be a single coverage. You need to put it on each and every individual player right now. You need to say, right, we're going straight up. We're not going to let them catch under, and we're going to make them make a big throw. Because they've been getting the turns, and I think with more pressure on the mark and a bit of a closer defense down the field, that's what's going to generate their opportunities here.
Question to be answered is, can they contain Jen Hoare? We'll see.
I've kept the air raid clip open on my phone just in case we need it again.
We may.
I feel like we're going to need it again, though.
Jen's on the field, and all her favoured receivers are out there. Hearts out there. She's been the intended target.
And it's Birchall this time.
Birchall having a go, but Petzold gets the block. Reads it well.
A little bit of a push-off.
She's been pretty effective in that deep space. She's plenty tall and plenty quick. And she'll jog that one up as the Gypsies zone sets. This zone has caused Bauhaus a world of hurt this game. As Matheson, a little hasty with that throw, and it goes over the top, plucked by Birchall. Birchall sizes her options, goes to Hoare. 8 meters out, forcing her backhand. Back to Birchall. Hoare goes up line. Birchall, forehand. Matheson underneath it. Too far. Hart not able to reel it in.
I question Jen Hoare's decision to move that disc so quickly. It hasn't been quick disc movement that has brought them this far. It's been her looking down the field and looking to open up the defense with her throws.
Rezzies now on the far side, struggling to get it out of the cup. They go back, they go sideways, and they go through the hands of Ko. She's not able to hold on. That could prove very costly. And the timeout call from Hoare. Veteran move, knows the clock is in a position that every second counts at this point. Seems likely now that time cap will go during this timeout. We'll take a quick break. Party win! And here we are. It's been a game of swings of momentum. Gypsies are up early. Rezzies pulled it back to 6-4. Then Gypsies took half. And here we are at 9 apiece. Time cap's gone. They'll finish this point and they'll add one to that. So it's a game to 11 no matter what. And right now, Gypsies are in a very powerful position. The disc in the hands of their captain and without a doubt most powerful thrower, Jen Hoare. She's about 4 meters out. Got a deep vertical stack in the end zone. Birchall in the dump space will provide that reset if need be.
Throw something floaty to the break side.
Rezzies looking like they've got a poach in the lane. Poaching off that third handler.
Throw something floaty to the break side. That's all you need to do.
They've got plenty of good receivers out there with Hart and Terrell. And here they go. Hoare tries to go the inside to that break side, as he said. And Terrell not able to pull it in. Back her at Cox.
Was enough floaty, or rather was enough break side, but not enough floaty.
Didn't have much of an opportunity, and that one floats. Plenty of biff.
Heavy
Won't
contact.
slow them down. But Birchall.
This ain't soccer.
Hoare again. That's plenty floaty.
There's no break
Players
side.
gather underneath it, and Nicole Hart, under pressure, plucks it like an apple off a tree, takes it to 10-9. The Inland Gypsies in prime position now. Rezzies with work to do. Jen Hoare just floats that one up there. An absolute hospital pass, 50-50 jump ball. you know, you don't look at that throw and go, oh, champagne ultimate, or oh, beautiful execution to an open player. You say, that's faith in your teammates. That's faith in their ability to make the play. And the play is made. So credit to them. It's 10-9.
And that's commitment to what's got you here. You know, it's just that trust and that belief, hey, we're going to make a play here. Yeah, the throw is kind of garbage, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's awful. If you catch it, you score, and you move on.
They're doing something right. They're 10-9 up in a game to 11. I guess when they've found a winning formula, they say, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't change a thing. More of the same. Yes, please. So here it is. Crunch time point for the Rezzies. It's do or die. They have to score this point to keep the game alive. It is match point to the Inland Gypsies, bringing together players from Mudgee, from Armidale, from Goolgong, from Shepparton, from Dubbo, and they're putting it all together when it counts. As Hoare launches the pull. Will be picked up by Polmere. Petzold hanging out deep. Maybe a release valve if they need it. Bauhaus finds a hole in the wall. Moving it nicely to go. Back to the near sideline. And they reach deep for Petzold. Can she make it? Well played. A lovely throw. That's a regulation catch in the end. 2 hands on the chest.
They love it.
Credit to the throw. The whole team rushes on to congratulate her. We've got a universe point, ladies and gentlemen. 10-all, game to 11.
First a Galaxy point, now a universe point. This game has got it all.
What more could you possibly want? We've had big hucks, we've had big grabs, we've had single coverage, we've had zone, we've had shifts of momentum.
We've had ICBMs.
We've had ICBMs. That one I didn't expect coming into this game, but we got him.
Oh, universe point. This is why we do it.
It's got to be now. It's got to be now for both of these teams. If you've got a trick left in the bag, if you've got something that you were saving, if you've got a little bit of energy left.
No, no. Now is not time to tinker. Stick with what you've been doing. Stick with what works, Max. Don't lose faith. Keep the faith. Finish the race.
I'm sure Inland Gypsies will take that advice. I think Rezzies need to find something different. I put big money on a Jen Hoare huck to the end zone in this point. As for the Bauhaus Rozies, see if they've got something else or if they stick to what's been, I don't know if I say working. I mean, it's working so much that they're here, but they haven't got a good answer for the hucks yet. And that'll float.
And that is not a good huck. That is going to place the Inland Gypsies in a pretty good spot.
Well within striking distance.
Floaty and breakside, Max. That's all it needs to be.
Floaty and breakside. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Leong at the front of the stack. Goes deep. Petzold's into pursuit. Swats it out of the sky. She went breakside. Not enough floaty.
Maybe too floaty.
And they'll swing it back to the center. Leong. Good hold in this win. Petzold can't reel that one in as it goes high and beyond the intended receiver. Stewart with the disc. She winds up. Goes forehand. Emphatic two-handed smackdown by Leong. Finds Matheson looking to move it quickly. Bauhaus with another opportunity and another wayward
Universe
toss.
point does funny things to the mind, Max.
Doesn't change anything about Jen Hoare though. She reaches deep. And Baccarat Cox makes up serious yardage to be there for that one.
At this stage of the game, the difference is heart, belief, and sheer determination.
Again, this kind of game, it's going to take a combination of skill and will to get the job done for either side. Matheson finds the pass through the center. Bauhaus off to the races, looking to keep it moving quickly, keeping that tempo high. Petzold moves to the far side to Baccarat Cox. And the cup settles around them. That drop in tempo is when they look their weakest. if they have to give up yards to maintain possession, going backwards. As Matheson, absolutely fearless, goes over the top with a hammer. But it was short, and this breeze may be playing a part in pushing it to the turf. Birchall picks up, Paws completely poached. Birchall will launch deep. She has Nicole Hart underneath it. And that's a goal, and that's the game. And Gypsies take it away, 11-10.
Speechless, Max, absolutely speechless.
Hold on, hold on. We may get some clarification from the game advisors on what is happening. Bit of discussion as to whether it was in or out.
It looked pretty good from here.
Had a retracted call. The two hands go overhead. It's a goal. And that is the game. And what a game it was.
Amazing game, Max. We had it all. Hooks, stalls, hand blocks, bids.
As we see that final effort again. Does a great job to toe it in. Very close to the line. And with that, that's all she wrote from this game. Do stick around for plenty more action from the Australian Ultimate Championships Division 2 here in beautiful Wollongong. I've been Max Stenstrom. I've been joined by Dan Clinton. See you next time.
Alti.tv.